Hello everyone and welcome back to another weather update. Today we'll be mainly talking about the severe weather threat for today and a little bit about tomorrow, and then we do have some more severe weather coming over the next couple of days. But I just want to start off by apologizing for not having any videos out for yesterday and Friday's severe weather threat. I know it was very bad over the plains on Friday and yesterday, and definitely praying for all the families that were affected and had any sort of damage from these storms. But first, let's go ahead and starting to look at our convective outlook for today. For today, Sunday, April the 28th, we do have a marginal risk all the way from northern Iowa all the way down into Texas and Louisiana. And then we also have a slight risk from about central Missouri all the way into far eastern Texas and then into most of the state of Louisiana, mainly central and northern Louisiana, then even to a little part of Mississippi right there, and then into Arkansas and Oklahoma. And then we do have an enhanced risk from far eastern Texas all the way into northwestern Louisiana and then into southwestern Arkansas there. We do have a 2% tornado risk with this from central Missouri all the way into Texas and Louisiana again, and then into far eastern Texas, into northwestern Louisiana and southwestern Arkansas. With our wind risk, we have a 5% all the way from Iowa and Wisconsin, southern Wisconsin into Illinois, and then all the way down into Texas and Louisiana again. And then with our 15% wind risk from central Missouri all the way to Texas, into Texas and Louisiana, into Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma. And then we have a 30% wind risk from far eastern Texas again, northwestern Louisiana, and southwestern Arkansas. Looking at our hail risk, we do have a 5% from the northern Iowa all the way into southwestern Wisconsin, and then into Texas, Louisiana, and then we have a 15% from eastern Texas, northwestern Louisiana, western Arkansas, and far eastern Oklahoma right there. So mainly looking at the south central United States, we'll be looking at the 18Z HRRR. So really right now we don't have a lot of storms, but we do have some ongoing at this time. But over the next couple of hours, you're going to see some more isolated storms trying to develop in eastern Texas and then into Oklahoma, some into Mississippi, just weaker storms into Mississippi and Arkansas. And then as you go farther into this afternoon into this evening, you do have those clusters really starting to get stronger into eastern Oklahoma and then into eastern Texas there, going into later this evening into tonight. You do have all those clusters really starting to form up into Missouri and then even into southeastern Kansas and then really over Texas as well. And then still going into tonight, you're really going to have to watch all these just for that quick tornado threat as well. But also that wind threat will be one of the biggest problems tonight. Then still as this goes into late this evening into tonight, as I was just saying, you have this pretty much a long line all the way from Missouri into eastern Texas, still moving into Arkansas and throughout southeastern Oklahoma. Then going into late tonight, into early tomorrow, you still have this just very long line of storms that will promote that wind threat as well. And then this will continue to move throughout Missouri, Arkansas, and into Louisiana and Texas tonight into tomorrow. And then we'll talk about tomorrow second. Now, looking at our moisture, our surface dew points, definitely very moist over Texas and then into Louisiana, obviously with all that Gulf moisture, but still you have upper 60s dew points pretty much entirely throughout eastern Oklahoma, the entire state of Arkansas, Louisiana, even upper 60s to 70 dew points into Mississippi, and then all the way up into even southeastern Kansas, and then into Missouri there as well. Still going into late this evening until tonight, you still have those surface dew points pushing up, and then they kind of start to push down a little bit as you're going to have that line moving east into tomorrow, and it's really going to take up all that moisture. Now looking at our surface-based CAPE, you're definitely going to have definitely not a shortage of instability tonight, this evening into tonight. You have definitely well over 2,000 into 3,000 joules per kilogram of surface-based CAPE showing up into Texas, and then into Oklahoma, over 1,500 joules per kilogram there, and then well over 1,500 to 2,000 joules per kilogram showing up in Louisiana, and then into Arkansas, over 1,500 joules per kilogram showing up there. As you get later into the night, those storms will pretty much basically eat up at that instability and just pretty much use it, if that makes sense. But still, as they go east, those storms go east, they're really just going to take up all that instability, and then you still have well over 2,000, almost 3,000 joules per kilogram of surface-based CAPE very, very late tonight into early tomorrow. Now looking at our low-level jet on the HRRR, it really isn't super strong as of right around this time today, but then as you get into the next couple of hours, it'll start to get stronger over Texas, and then into Louisiana, and then over Arkansas as well into eastern Oklahoma, really getting going late tonight. You have upper 30 knot range into the almost mid 40 knot range into Texas there, still going, and to very late tonight into early tomorrow, just a widespread upper 30 knot low-level jet over Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, and then even into the upper 40 knot range right there into eastern Texas. Then looking at our 500 millibar level, pretty much 30 to 40, and then 50 knots, 500 millibar winds coming out of the southwest, pretty much out of the west here, and then southwest here over at eastern Texas, eastern Oklahoma, and then as well as Louisiana, and then into Arkansas there. Now looking at tomorrow's threat on Monday, April the 29th, we do have a marginal risk all the way from southern Texas all the way into far western Alabama there, and then into central to southern Mississippi, and then into most of the state of Louisiana. We have a 2% tornado risk tomorrow, with a 2% in far eastern Texas all the way into pretty much central to southwestern Mississippi, and then most of the state of Louisiana there. Looking at our wind risk, we do have a 5% all the way from Texas into western Alabama, and then into central to southern Mississippi, and then into most of the state of Louisiana. Looking at our hail risk, pretty much the same thing, Texas all the way into southwestern Mississippi, and then into most of the state of Louisiana. So looking at the 18Z HRRR for tomorrow as well, same thing we were just pretty much talking about earlier with that long line extending, the strongest of it from eastern Missouri into Texas tomorrow, early in the early morning hours, and then going as this moves east, you have pretty much the strongest part in western Mississippi all the way down into Texas there, then going into late morning into the early afternoon hours on tomorrow. you still have this damaging wind threat you'll have to watch too, as well as that smaller tornado risk, and that smaller hail risk as well. And then it still moves into Louisiana, Mississippi, um, tomorrow in the early or mid afternoon hours, excuse me, and then still moving into Mississippi. It's almost out of the entire state of Louisiana. The strongest part is, and then it'll still move into Alabama. There, you do have some weaker storms moving into Alabama. That'll be the main threat for tomorrow. Looking at our low-level jet, it definitely strengthens compared to today, but really an only small portion into Louisiana um, late tomorrow morning into the upper 40 to lower 50 knot range, then moving into midday tomorrow, just a 30 to 40 knot range, upper 40 knot range into Louisiana, Mississippi there, and then going southeast into the upper 40 knot range into the lower 50 knot range as well, and then still moving out fully, and then pretty much our low level jet is non-existent almost by late tomorrow night. Now looking at our surface-based CAPE, not a lot of CAPE, but still definitely plenty. Over 2,000 joules per kilogram showing up in Louisiana, and then over almost 1,500 showing up into parts of Louisiana again, and then into southwestern into southern Mississippi, well over 1,000 joules per kilogram showing up there. Then as that line moves into southeastern Louisiana and then into southern Mississippi, over 1,500 joules per kilogram and well over 2,000 joules per kilogram showing up into Louisiana. And then still as that moves out, all that instability is pretty much ate up by those storms and that line as it moves to the east. Now looking at the Tuesday, April the 30th, for our severe weather threat, we do have a marginal risk all the way from very parts of far northern to mostly northwestern Texas, all the way into southern Minnesota right there, and then all throughout Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, and then Iowa into far western Missouri, and then even into far southeastern South Dakota right there. Then we have our slight risk from Iowa all the way into northeastern Kansas, into northwestern Missouri, and then into pretty much southeastern Nebraska there. And then looking at our probabilistic, we do have a 15% in the same areas I was just showing into Iowa, and then into Nebraska and Kansas and Missouri there as well. For Wednesday's severe weather threats, on May the 1st, we do have a small 15% risk from western Oklahoma into central Kansas right there. Now looking at what's responsible for this severe weather threat over the today and over the next couple of days, we do have our trough right here, and then as you can see that those 500 millibar winds going over Oklahoma and Texas, and then into Kansas, and then we do have our low pressure, mainly right about right here, and then as this goes on, that trough will that low pressure will continue to move northeast, and then as you get into tomorrow, with that line moving into Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi and Arkansas, you do have like a little bit of a shortwave trough moving into there. And then as you get into Tuesday's threat, we have this other trough right here. We have, like our low pressure is around here. And then we have this trough right here that'll move into the western U.S. and then you'll have your severe weather threat. So that's going to be it for this afternoon's update. And I hope everybody stays safe if you live in any of these areas affected by severe weather. And then over the next couple of days as well, um, I'm gonna try to make another video probably tomorrow regarding maybe Monday's threat, and then definitely Tuesday and Wednesday's threat as well. And I hope all of y'all have a great evening.